We've got something pretty special. We're going really deep into that huge Google leak from May 2024. You know, the Content Warehouse API documentation.
Yeah, thousands of pages. And we're specifically focusing on what it tells us about local business ranking, how Google actually, well, scores things.
Exactly. This isn't like some vague announcement. It's internal stuff accidentally put on GitHub. And, I mean, its authenticity seems solid, right? Confirmed by former Googlers, matches up with court testimony.
Oh, absolutely. This feels like looking at the actual engineering plans.
Hmm.
It's raw, complex, but incredibly revealing.
So our mission today, for you listening, is to break this down. We want to show you exactly what Google's measuring now for local businesses. And the big takeaway right up front, it's way, way beyond just name, address, phone consistency.
Definitely. It proves we're really in an era of, let's call it, local entity optimization. So at the whole business, online and off.
Okay, let's dig in. Where does this stuff actually live inside Google systems, the architecture piece?
Right, so you have to start with the big picture, the content warehouse. Think of it as Google's, I don't know, central library or database for everything it finds online.
Everything. So every web page they crawl, data about it goes in there.
Correct. And for each unique web page URL, they create a master record, basically. It's called the composite doc. That's where all the scores, the quality signal, spam flags, page content details, everything about that specific URL gets stored.
Okay, composite doc for a URL. But we're talking about local businesses, physical places. Where does that info fit? Is it separate?
And that's the crucial point. It's not separate. The documentation shows this LocalWWWInfo model, the thing holding all the local business data. It's actually a nested component. It lives inside the composite doc for the business's website.
Wow, okay. So structurally, inside Google's brain, the understanding of a physical shop is directly tied, like fundamentally linked to its website.
Exactly. It's not just loosely associated. It's part of the same core data structure.
That's huge. So for you listening, this means your Google business profile performance isn't somehow separate from your website's health.
Right. The website's technical SEO, its content, its authority, those signals are literally attributes considered alongside the physical business details within this one model.
So thinking about your GBP and your website SEO in totally separate boxes, that's just not how Google sees it, based on this leak.
That approach looks technically outdated now, yeah. They're intertwined aspects of the same business entity in Google's system.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. For years, everyone in local SEO hammered on NAP consistency. Name, address, phone. Make sure it matches everywhere.
Yeah, the idea was consistency builds trust, discrepancies hurt you. And that's still true, fundamentally. But this leak shows the mechanism is, well, a lot more sophisticated than just matchy-matchy.
How so?
Well, look at how they store address and phone data. The attributes in the LocalWWWInfo model, things like address and phone, they're defined as lists.
Lists, meaning they can hold more than one version.
Exactly. Yeah. The system is built to collect and store multiple variations, even conflicting ones, that it finds out there on the web.
Oh, okay. If it stores contradictions, how does it figure out the right address or phone number?
That gets to the real challenge Google faces. Entity resolution. And there's another key attribute here called wrapptorItem. That's also a list.
Okay.
Each wrapptorItem basically represents a single NFP citation. Google found somewhere else, like your Yelp listing, a directory entry, Facebook, whatever. Google pulls in all these different footprints, this potentially messy list of wrapptorItems.
Right.
Its main job isn't just to ding you for inconsistency. It's to take all that messy data and resolve it, figure out, okay, despite these variations, they all probably refer to this one actual business entity.
So it's less about perfect matching everywhere and more about making it easy for Google to connect the dots, to resolve the entity confidently.
You got it. And that resolution process seems to be managed by another attribute called cluster. The goal for you then is to make your core NFP data so consistent and strong across your main properties that you create a clear center of gravity.
Makes sense. Make it easy for Google to build that high-confidence cluster. A few minor variations might be okay, but lots of wildly different info just makes Google's job harder.
Precisely. And one more quick point on data structure here.
Yeah.
The hours attribute. It confirms they store operating hours in a structured way, like as actual data objects, not just text.
Which matters for reliability, right? Especially for open now searches.
Absolutely. Sending someone to a closed business is a terrible experience. Having structured, reliable hours data gives Google confidence for those time-sensitive queries. It's a direct signal of trustworthiness.
Okay, so Google figures out who you are online, but local is so much about the real world. This leak gives us something on that, right? This brick and mortar strength score.
Yes. This is maybe one of the most fascinating parts. Brick and mortar strength. The documentation defines it as a numerical score, a floating point number representing the strength and legitimacy of the business's physical presence.
It's like an algorithmic score for your offline authority.
Pretty much, yeah. It's quantifying how real and prominent your business is in the physical world.
So the million-dollar question, what feeds into that score? What makes it go up? Based on the leak and what we know Google can track.
Well, we can piece together the likely inputs. First, there are signals from the Google Business Profile itself. Is it complete? Verified. How active are you with posts, Q&A, responding to reviews? That's foundational.
Okay, GBP activity. Makes sense. What else?
Second, user-generated content, UGC. Reviews are obviously important, the volume, the velocity, the sentiment, but the leak seems to put special emphasis on user-uploaded photos, especially geotagged photos.
Photos taken at the location, like proof of life.
Exactly. It's external validation from customers, showing people are actually there. It confirms the physical reality in a way text reviews alone can't.
Okay, GBP signals, user photos. But what about actual foot traffic? If this score is about real-world strength, how does Google even know if people are visiting, especially for a new business?
Right. That leads to the third and probably most impactful input category, behavioral data. We know Google has access to vast amounts of aggregated, anonymized location data. Think Android phones, Google Maps navigation.
So they can measure actual visits.
It seems highly likely they use that data to gauge things like visit volume, maybe dwell time, how long people stay, and visit frequency. High foot traffic is strong evidence of a thriving, legitimate business.
Wow, so more customers walking through your door literally translates algorithmically into better search visibility via this brick and mortar strength score.
It creates this direct feedback loop, yeah. Offline success fuels online visibility. And like you said, that's tough for new businesses, isn't it?
Definitely. If you're a startup next to an established local favorite, you won't have that foot traffic history.
Which means you have to absolutely max out the other signals. Nail the GVP completeness, aggressively encourage reviews, and those crucial geotagged photos. You have to build digital proof while the real-world behavioral data catches up.
It really shows how central that brick and mortar strength is to the local competitive landscape. Okay, moving on slightly. The docs also show Google categorizes businesses by size using flags like isLargeChain and, interestingly, isLargeLocalwwwinfo. Why two flags for large?
Good question. isLargeChain is what you'd expect. It identifies national or global brands like Starbucks or McDonald's. Google expects certain things from them, like strong websites, consistency.
Okay, so what's isLargeLocalwwwinfo?
That seems to be for significant authoritative local institutions that aren't part of a national chain. Think a major regional hospital system, the main university in town, maybe a big local newspaper's website.
So it's about setting different expectations. A small bakery isn't expected to have the same online footprint as the city university.
Exactly. It lets the algorithm calibrate. It understands that a large local entity should have substantial authority and presence, even if it's not a chain. It helps rank businesses fairly within their peer group.
Makes sense. Now let's talk context, geographic and digital. You mentioned something called geotopicality.
Yeah, this is really cool. It's the idea that the geographic location itself has a topic associated with it. It's not just your business that's about, say, pizza, but maybe the whole neighborhood block is known for restaurants.
So the location has its own topical relevance. Like Savile Row in London is topically about bespoke tailoring.
Precisely that kind of thing. The area itself carries topical weight.
And the implication for a business.
You benefit by aligning yourself with that inherent geotopical authority. So creating hyperlocal content, mentioning local landmarks, talking about neighborhood events, showing you're part of that's a specific place, it strengthens your relevance for searches happening in or about that area.
It connects what you do with where you do it. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, last piece of context. Digital. The site siblings attribute, what's that about?
siblings is basically an integer, a count. It represents the number of other websites, or maybe subdomains, that Google is confident belong to the same overall business entity.
So if a company has its main.com, but also a separate site for careers and maybe one for its foundation, Google counts those up?
If it can confidently link them, yes.
Yeah.
It helps Google understand the scale and complexity of the brand's entire digital ecosystem. A higher site siblings count suggests a larger, potentially more established and authoritative entity online.
Okay, that paints a pretty detailed picture. Let's try to pull it all together. If we were to summarize this local WWInfo leak into a kind of strategic framework for local SEO now, what would the key pillars be?
I think you can boil it down to four main dimensions that Google is clearly measuring. First, foundational identity. That's getting your core NAP right, making it easy for Google to build that high-confidence cluster.
Right. Pillar 1, identity.
Second, real-world prominence. That's heavily driven by the brick-and-mortar strength score, which reflects your offline activity, your foot traffic, your user-generated proof like geotagged photos.
Pillar 2, real-world proof. Got it.
Third, scale and type. Google needs to correctly classify you. Are you a small local shop, a large chain, isLargeChain, or a major local institution?
isLargeLocalwwwinfo.
That sets the context for ranking expectations.
Pillar 3, scale classification.
And fourth, contextual relevance. This covers both aligning with your area's geotopicality and making sure Google understands the full scope of your digital presence through site siblings.
Okay. Identity, prominence, scale, context. That's a solid framework. So for everyone listening, thinking about what to do now, what are the absolute must-do actions based on this leak?
Well, focusing on those first two pillars seems critical, identity and prominence.
So step 1, audit your NAP. Like really audit it. Go find all your citations, standardize the format, make Google's cluster job easy.
Exactly. And step 2, get localbusinessschema.org markup on your website. Feed Google your core info address, phone, hours in the structured language it clearly wants. It directly supports entity resolution.
Makes perfect sense. And step 3, for that vital brick-and-mortar strength.
You have to actively push for user-generated content. Ask for reviews, yes, but specifically encourage customers to upload photos from their visit. Geotagged photos are gold here. They're verifiable proof of real-world interaction.
And maybe step 4, longer term, create that hyper-local content to tap into the geotopicality of your specific neighborhood.
Definitely. Show you belong there.
So wrapping up, the big picture here seems to be that local search success isn't just about online tricks anymore. This local WWInfo model really confirms it. It's about building a genuinely strong, verifiable business in the real world.
And then accurately mirroring that reality online in a structured way Google can understand.
Yeah. And thinking ahead, what does this focus on structured data and real-world proof mean for things like AI overviews?
Well, it feels perfectly aligned, doesn't it? AI systems need clean, reliable, structured data to generate trustworthy summaries. They're going to rely on the most authoritative, well-defined entities. If your entity profile is messy or lacks real-world validation signals,
You're likely to get overlooked or misrepresented by the AI.
I think so. A strong local WWInfo profile, underpinned by high brick-and-mortar strength, essentially becomes your calling card for the AI era of search. The link between offline reality and online visibility is just getting tighter and more algorithmic.
A fascinating look under the hood.
It really is.
Yeah.
And maybe the final thought for you listening is this. How can you start thinking about measuring and actively influencing those offline signals? The foot traffic, the customer experience that leads to those photos. Because that's what's feeding directly into that powerful brick-and-mortar strength score. That's the new frontier, really.